So, good morning to all our lovely viewers today. We have a wonderful individual for you to meet. Please welcome Lauren Bell, the founder of Place with Poise brand from Charlotte, North Carolina. Okay,
Hi.
so Lauren, we had been working together for a short while now, and every time I talk to you, it has been quite inspirational for me. But for the listeners, viewers who are meeting you for the first time, could you share a little bit about your personal and professional journey as to who you are? Where did you start your journey thus far? Share a little bit.
Sure. And hello, everyone. And thank you, Pawan, for that lovely intro. Very excited to be here today and talk with you about my journey so far. As the founder with Place of Poise, I've always believed that organization isn't just about decluttering. It's more a philosophy and working to bring clarity that creates balance and really just frees up the time for our most valuable resource, which is time. So giving you back more time. Organization has always been a part of my life. If you get a chance to go and visit our Place with Poise website, which I hope you do, you'll see that my love for structure didn't just start in a conference room with my professional journey. It began at home, really influenced by my three incredibly organized parents. From an early age, my mom really instilled the importance of taking care of what we had, teaching us to remain tidy and be intentional and resourceful, really, despite any constraints of limited space. Much of my life, I grew up in apartments before she had met my stepfather when we did get a house. But with that, didn't have a much real estate to actually spread your things out. So I did grow up typically in a paycheck to paycheck household. And this really taught me to value all my items, to make the most of what was around us and create order, even in the smallest ways. And then if I think about it, there's my dad. He's always been very meticulous and precise. I think he was the first person that introduced me to the magic of label makers, really showing me how small systems create big differences. And then during my, I'll call them tween years, my mom and my stepfather, who was a steady influence in my life as well, he was in the Air Force for over 20 years. And I think his military background really translated into our household. It was structured and intentional, and I guess as free from chaos as it could be with two working parents and three kiddos in the house. But each of them really shaped my perspective on organization, not just as a skill, but a way of living. And thus, that's really how I got to the foundation of Place with Poise. And I really want to help others discover the same sense of clarity and refinement that's guided me throughout my life, especially having come from working in a busy career, which I'll dive into. But really, after graduating from college, began a career in consulting services for a Department of Defense contractor. And I had various roles rooted in project management and technical editing. And so from the very beginning, organization wasn't really just a preference. It was a necessity that shaped the trajectory really of my professional journey. After I was in consulting services, I really advanced through the corporate world, transitioning into financial services. And that's where I spent the majority of my career prior to this. Found myself drawn to roles centered around optimizing processes, enhancing systems, and looking for efficiencies. At the core, I am more of an empath who really thrives in server leadership roles. So chief of staff roles were a natural fit for me. I discovered a lot of fulfillment in simplifying complexities for executives and making their lives easier and allowing them to focus on their priorities. The exposure to them helped me navigate business strategy more through a customer centric lens, a lot of times internally. So I'm excited now to take that externally. But with time, I was able to hone these skills further and earned a place on an executive leadership team, managing a business management and operations team for an investment company. So that was very exciting, one of my largest and most fulfilling roles. But with that, I had a lot of responsibility, and that wasn't just professionally, but personally. I was also what I'll call momming, managing a household, and I decided to do my MBA later in life in the evenings. And so I had a 1-year-old and a 5-year-old. And with each day, life's demands just got heavier. And along with that came physical and mental clutter, trying to remember everything with work and life outside of work. And it just became very overwhelming. I'd say in the back of my mind, there was always a quiet but persistent thought, like leading me to take my MBA, what I've learned from corporate, and move toward entrepreneurship. And having spent years helping executives, becoming an executive and streamlining processes, I wanted to apply that passion in a way that would directly improve lives because I know how hard that can be coming home and just feeling beyond exhausted and not knowing what to do with the time that you have left and that you really don't necessarily feel like dealing with clutter, whether it's physical or mental. So, that was a bit winded, but so that's how Place with Poise was born. And really my venture dedicated to reducing chaos, creating clarity, and giving people back time. I think when you're free from clutter, physical, mental, and logistical, you can focus on what truly matters. And I believe there's no shame in outsourcing when it's a feasible option for an individual or a family. So hopefully that gives you a sense of how Plates with Poise came to be.
Okay, that's really lovely. And like I said in the beginning as well, every time that I talk to you, I get some inspirations. And managing a lot of things and balancing your life and the success always comes with organizing your life properly. So that being said, Lauren, like what exactly inspired or motivated you to take the lead from a successful corporate career that you mentioned earlier to starting your own company, Place with Poise? Was there any particular moment or experience that made you realize you wanted to help others create order and harmonize their life?
I don't know if it was necessarily a particular moment. I think the turning point for me was realizing as I grew into these chief of staff roles and my last really significant role where I was managing a team of people more in an executive role. It was a small team, but it was also understanding like streamlining processes is very important and helping people just make whatever it may be more simple. I think I long to bring that clarity not just to the conference rooms and more into individuals and their lives at home. It, whether it's a calendar on the refrigerator, as like easy as that sounds, it can also be complex trying to navigate through all your different apps and all the dates that you have, whether it's you're on a board and you have a board meeting, or you have to remember to order your child's lunch for school, or you have to remember to get to that doctor's appointment. Putting that all in front of somebody and helping them organize just gives me a lot of satisfaction knowing that I was able to do this for executives, and I would love to be able to do this for people that have busy lives outside of the corporate place. As I mentioned, I've always been very empathetic at heart. So I know how it feels to be overwhelmed with such burdens. So I really want to give people back the time they desperately need to focus on what's important, especially when you have trying times in your life. It might be something going on. For instance, you could be downsizing. Maybe you're empty nesters and you're dealing with your oldest children moving out for college and you have a lot of their things and you need help going through the sentimental pieces. That for me is hard personally, deciding like how many items of my son's do I want to keep? What can I move past? Or if it's somebody going through grief and helping with that transition, or maybe you're upsizing, maybe you have an apartment and you're going to move into a home, and how do we organize it the right way? So really think my personal mission is coupled with the decades of professional experience I have and just creating tranquil atmospheres for people and doing it with poise and intention.
Okay, that's rather wonderful. So not just corporate executives and companies, but everybody else needs some structure into their lives. And I
Absolutely.
Great. And let's talk about your unique approach to this organization. I understand you developed something called Poise Tech. Can you share like what it is for our viewers?
Yeah. So poise has always been something important to me in general. And I think that's what's helped carry me so far in the corporate place. I started, like I said, very early on, it was Department of Defense. And while that was a junior role, it was working with high ranking military individuals or government contractors and having to early on learn how to present yourself at a young age in front of very high ranking people. And then that really translated into corporate and gave me experiences to interact with people of all stages, but really being mindful of first impressions and how you present yourself and how you conduct business and communication. So, poise is a word that I even carry outside of work. I think if you talk to my friends, even my family, they would say that word is something that probably does help define me. And so, with that, I wanted to bring that to the business and why I call it Place with Poise. So, from there, thought about this a little bit. And really, the technique is everything we do when we come in is going to be for a purpose. We're not just going to do something to do something. So, after we have a client assessment and I learn more about you as a company or a person and what you're trying to do, there's going to be the purpose behind what we're doing. And then we're going to think about the order. So, and Poise, right? The order that you're trying to achieve, what needs to be contained? Do we want to go through a macro category, a micro category, thinking just about that order and organization that's right for you? And an image, this comes a little bit to the aesthetics and not saying sometimes we might be able to work with everything you have, but just make it easier to use and reflects your personal style more. So taking things that you like and bringing that to life in the system and what we're trying to do. And sustainability is more, can you maintain this? And maybe it's something you'd rather outsource. So we'll also have options for memberships and subscriptions monthly. But the more sustainable it is, the quicker someone from Place with Poise can come in and just manage it and maintain it. And then the E for elegant efficiency is really just working through the process so that it is as efficient as possible, but it's nicely done. It's not overly complicated. Things can be elegant and they can also be simple. So I'd say it's not just a process, but it's a mindset. And like I said, I think it's something I've become known for demonstrating why I was representing different senior executives. That's a little bit behind the Poise technique.
Poise is becoming one of my favorite words as well. Now it is just not a word, but it has a hidden meaning behind it. And so our viewers will be taking some notes. Okay. And now we have gone through what is Placed with Poise and what is your hidden technique in there. But I think our viewers would like to know about what is your end-to-end process from the first point of contact. What does the journey look like for somebody who is interested in Poise technique and also working with Placed with Poise, and how can they reach out and get started?
Certainly. So the process begins with a personal, honestly, no pressure, complimentary conversation. So if you reach out to us and you're interested in learning more, we'll set up a 30-minute phone conversation. And it's more just you submitting an inquiry, allowing Place of Poise to understand your unique challenges and really the aspirations for yourself, the client, what you're trying to achieve. If you'd like to move on, we would schedule an initial consultation where in most cases we would come to you and we would assess the space, discuss your objectives for of a meet and greet as well. It allows us to set the stage for our relationship and then also determining what our tailored strategy would be. Of course, there's lots of things to be discussed, but at a high level, we would start in a decluttering and organizing sense. We'd start with decluttering and guiding the client through thoughtful evaluation. As I mentioned before, like going through belongings. Is something sentimental or something's ready to donate? We can help you determine that. We work through what stays, what goes, we still preserve the sentimental values. So maybe you have 100 photo frames and we can condense that, but save your memories in another fashion. We'll talk through that strategy. Once we clear the clutter, we'll step into the organization phase. And I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but where we'll talk through different systems, how you like to categorize. Maybe it's at a macro level, more of a micro level. That's really up to the client. And then bringing fresh structure and beauty into your environment and how you like that design to look. And we could talk through an array of products if you wanted to use them or not use them. For clients experiencing life transitions, as we mentioned, could be downsizing, remodeling. Process even extends beyond organization and decluttering. And we could offer staging, more digital organization, or even productivity consulting, where we would want to talk about maybe you just need an hour of time to get some advice and consultation on time management and task management. Something else we hope to bring as the world continues to innovate and get more technology driven is building smart technology recommendations into your home to create modern and efficient solutions. Now, while we wouldn't necessarily be the ones installing them, we would partner right with the right vendors to help you achieve that and work through what that strategy is. At every stage, we'll really focus on being thoughtful with the planning, being very meticulous about how we execute, and we'll want the client involved in every part of the way. So whether we're there one day, whether we're there 3 days, at the end of the day, we'll always recap what we did, how we're progressing, and make sure that we're giving you ongoing support so that the space stays functional and inspiring even once we leave. So our goal is to take immediate action to really restore order and setting up systems that will work for you in the long term.
Okay. Okay. So it's a very client centric approach and very structured approach as well. I hope all the viewers now knows what to do and what they can expect from the process as well. And that being said, like, what is your vision for the place with Poise? How do you see your brand in next 5 years? What is the future for your company and the impact that you hope to make through the company to your community and to your clients as well?
Absolutely. It's hard, right? 5 years is short, but at the same time, it's long. So when I think about it and having just started, I really envision Place with Poise involving more, I'd say, into a comprehensive, more lifestyle solutions type of brand.
Mhm.
It's a one-stop destination, not just for organization, but thinking through things like productivity, smart technologies, and how you integrate them in your day-to-day to make things as seamless as possible, and really empowering clients to manage both the physical and digital spaces. I think is from a community perspective, I think it would be really exciting to get an opportunity from a philanthropic perspective to help organize even a process for, I'm picking a nonprofit. Let's say you have a food bank and how food is coming through. Like I said, it's not just physical, it's looking at the processes. Like in that sense, it's even taking some of a Lean Six Sigma background, which I had early on, but how you can look at a process, make it more efficient, but at the same time, give some space back. So really just taking the knowledge and incorporating that into the community would be exciting. I think by fostering environments that do encourage creativity and focus, Place with Poise hopes to have more of a lasting positive impact on the communities and can pave more of the way, I'd say, for a future where companies and individuals, primarily if it's physically and I'm meeting with them in the Carolinas, I guess what sets Place with Poise and myself up for uniqueness is that I'm right on the border of Charlotte and Lake Wiley and TK and Fort Mill. So working across the Carolinas and just helping people to really pursue their passions by giving them time back and more structure.
Okay, that's very rather ambitious future that you are seeing. And also like, I'm very impressed that you want to bring these corporate techniques like Lean Six Sigma into the community development. And that being said, unfortunately, we are running out of the time a little bit. One last time, like what is one last piece of message that you want to leave with our viewers today?
Yeah, I think it's more that order is something you can embrace, and it's not just in your spaces, but in your life. And when you shed clutter, you have an opportunity to reclaim time and energy. And as I said, it's more the mantra focus on what truly matters. I really believe that having a plan is essential. I'm going to bring a little bit of personal to me. So I'm a regular everyday user of the Peloton equipment. So the treadmill, the bike, their boot camps. I've been using it for the past 7 years. And some of the instructors are really motivational. And one of the quotes that came out was put your purpose in pen and your plan in pencil. So I think it's more that what order looks like for you today may evolve over time, and that's perfectly okay. And recognizing when to maintain structure and when to pivot really is truly the essence of a well lived and organized life. And being comfortable knowing that you have a purpose, but your plan might change is okay. And Place with Poise is there to help you navigate that.
Okay, thank you for that advice. Actually, it's not just one advice, it's quite a lot of advices. And I have taken some notes as well. I think like the viewers will do. Unfortunately, we need to like wrap this up for the day. And I thank you, Lauren, and on behalf of everybody who is going to watch this. And I wish you all the very best for your future and also the future that you see in Placed with Poise. And it has been quite a privilege being a part of your journey as well. And so, anybody who wants to work with Placed with Poise and who is very curious about the brand and Lauren as well, please get in touch with their website, placedwithpoise.com, and also with the socials Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook with Placed with Poise. So, I wish everyone a great summer and with great sun all the time. So thank you, everyone. See you.